Hello everyone and welcome to the Miradore webinar on application deployment for iOS and Miradore Online. My name is Sean Brennan and I'm a marketing specialist here in Miradore. And let's have a look at the agenda for today. First, our technical director, Walter de Ketke, will run through a demonstration and more about that shortly. Then we'll follow up with a Q&A session with Walter to answer all of your questions. So feel free to type your questions in the question box during the demonstration. And then after that, a few closing remarks. So just a bit more about the demonstration. Walter is going to walk through the scenarios of application deployment on iOS. He'll show you how to deploy both App Store applications and in-house applications. And afterwards, he's going to give you an overview of how the Apple Volume Purchasing Program works with Miradore. And now I'll hand it over to Walter and he can begin the demo.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sean. And clicking on the share my screen, please confirm to me, Sean, when you can see it, so I'll know when to start.
I see it right now. You're good to go.
All right, fantastic. So there's a couple of scenarios, as Sean mentioned, as to how we can deploy our apps. There's the in-house application, there's the normal App Store app, and then there's Apple Volume Purchasing Program. Now, check our documentation on how to set up Volume Purchasing Program up, but to put it shortly, all you have to do is head over to the infrastructure diagram, browse a bit downwards, you'll find the Volume Purchase Program wizard here. And here it's configured, but all you'd have to do is, once you've got a VPP account, to walk through the wizard here. Now, applications, as expected, are managed from the Applications view. So if we go there, like so, and in the Actions pane, we see that we've got the Add wizard, which is what we want to start with. And we can see that I've already got a bunch of apps here. Now, we're using the iOS platform. Hit on Next here. And then we get to choose whether we want an App Store app or an in-house app. I'll walk this through for both of these, so let's first go with the App Store. So let's find something nice from the Apple App Store. Here we see the top picks, so let's say Games, Adventure. And let's see if Plants vs. Zombies 2 tickles our fancy. Let's do that. So copy this. If we go back to Miradore, we see that we need a name. So Plants vs. Zombies 2. Now it's App Store ID, or I can just get this bit off the end of the URL here, like so, paste it here, and click on the show, whilst not popping any pop-ups. And did I manage to mess up the copy-paste? Okay, here we are. Now all properly set up. Plants vs. Zombies 2. Like so. And hit on Create. Then we can hit the Close wizard here. Now before we go into the installing of this, let's add an in-house application as well. So walk through the same wizard here. add application action, select iOS as the platform. We want an in-house this time, and hit next. Now there's a couple of options we see. There's an option to put an external URL, and if we look at the link, it needs a link to the manifest file, meaning it's a plist file containing all the necessary components. If you're dealing with in-house apps, file upload is the other option, in which case we put an IPA file here. And here I've got one sample. So upload that, and the name and name is set automatically. So I can just put the webinar demo app description here. And hit on create. Now finally then, what to do with the VPP apps. We see we've got the Update Apple Volume Purchase Program applications wizard here, and they're imported from VPP. So here too, let's go to VPP Home. Let's find, I bet there is Angry Birds here. Let's pick up Angry Birds Friends. Buy a couple of licenses. They're free. So it doesn't really matter how many we do, but let's choose 10. And of course, I have read these and agreed to the terms and conditions. And now the order is complete. In my purchase history, I can see that there is indeed 10 licenses of Angry Birds Friends. And if I launch the update wizard, we get to update those licenses, and then they'll be shown here too. So from our VPP we had 10 Angry Birds Friends, 25 of Miradore Online Client, and 5 of Javelin Masters 2. And if we filter by the type VPP, then sure enough, here they are. And we can even get the number of licenses we're currently using. So Miradore Client and Javelin Masters, we've installed a couple, but there's still 10 Angry Birds Friends left. Now, how to then start deploying these and what's different for all of these? So, there's 2 prongs here too. If we've got supervised devices, then both VPP apps and in-house apps will be installed silently. And if we've got non-supervised devices, then in all of the cases the user will be asked whether the installation is to be approved. Now, let me start the iOS screen sharing as well. And although it just worked in testing, we seem to be having technical difficulties. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing today what it actually does look on the device. However, moving forward, so how to do the installation? Looping back to the previous topic, apologies for wasting the previous 5 minutes here. So here we are with the Angry Birds Friends, a VPP app. It's a simple ordeal of deploying it here. On the devices form, if we look at the device. So find where I want to put it. Use the iPhone and use the deploy application wizard. Here I could choose multiple ones and deploy it to as many as I'd like. So, find the Angry Birds friends. And put that in the queue. And now if we look at what's going on the device, we see that the installation is in progress, and here would be a very exciting time to see it actually loading and installing. But let's just wait for a few seconds. Hopefully the Angry Birds Friends isn't too large of a download, and we'll get it here without using too much time. Yep. Becoming the radio announcer, I see it loading. It's now past the halfway point, sprinting towards the final stretch like Usain Bolt himself. Now 4/3 done, and finally all downloading is done. It's installing and seems to be done. So let's reload the page. And let's sync the device so we get the most recent inventories. Like so. And let's see, oops, accidentally went to the inventory when in reality I wanted to go to the events to see that, sure enough, here we see the installation is complete. And whether we use a VPP app, whether we use a normal App Store app, or whether we use an in-house app, the flow is exactly the same. So create your application from the Applications view, use the Devices view or the Applications view, or you can even here from a single devices perspective use the Deploy application tool. Deploy it, and then it's completed after it's successfully done. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you very much, Valtteri, for that demonstration. And now we'd like to go to the Q&A parts of our session. I see we do have a few questions here. Start off with the first one. What is needed to deploy apps to the device if the user has no iTunes account?
In such a case, you can deploy either using VPP or an in-house app. If you don't have an iTunes account, the normal App Store apps won't work. Other than that, VPP apps are okay and in-house apps are okay. Okay,
very good. Thank you. Another question that came up from the audience is, what happens if the user is not online or has switched the device off when they're deploying apps?
In that case, the installation will be in a waiting status until such time that the device is turned on or turns up online. At that point in time, the installation will start.
Okay, very good. And one other question here is, do I need the Miradore client on the iOS device to deploy apps?
That's a very good one. You don't. The Miradore app is only needed for location tracking. App installation works perfectly fine even without it.
Very good. I'll wait here another minute in case anybody else in our audience would have a question. And if not, then we'll go to the closing remarks, but we'll wait a little bit here. All right, then I'll take it there's no further questions today, so we'll go to close. So again, thank you everyone who attended. We'll have a transcript of the Q&A session sent out to you soon for those of you who attended, along with a link to the video recording of this webinar. So thanks again, and don't forget to join us next week for actually 2 webinars. The first being on Wednesday at 1900 hours Central European Time on an overview of our latest feature, Android Enterprise. So if you haven't registered yet, just head on over to our website and sign up. And then on Thursday at this same time for our webinar on setting restrictions on iOS devices. So thank you very much and have a great rest of your week.
Fantastic. Thanks everyone on my behalf as well.
All right. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.